Actress Natalie Wood was found dead today.
The Los Angeles coroner today is saying actress Natalie Wood was drunk when she apparently slipped into the ocean trying to board that small rubber boat.
Natalie Wood's death has haunted Hollywood for decades, but the truth behind that fateful night is far darker than anyone ever imagined. Once considered a tragic accident, new details reveal secrets, betrayals, and shocking inconsistencies that shake the very foundation of her story. Friends, lovers, and even witnesses hold pieces of a puzzle no one has fully pieced together. Until now. What you thought you knew about her death is only the beginning. One of the earliest and most haunting difficulties in Natalie Wood's life reportedly stems from a troubling family memory during her teenage years. According to her younger sister, Lana Wood, Natalie experienced a deeply upsetting encounter in the summer of 1955 when she was approximately 16 or 17. Lana recalls that the meeting took place at the iconic Chateau Marmont in Los Angeles, a hotel already steeped in Hollywood history and known for hosting celebrities and private industry gatherings. The encounter was reportedly arranged by their mother, reflecting the pressures and ambitions placed on young Natalie as she navigated the demanding and often unforgiving world of show business. In her memoir, Little Sister, Lana recounts that after the incident, Natalie confided in her with a rare moment of vulnerability. She reportedly told Lana, "He hurt me, Lana," describing the experience as out of body. "I was terrified, I was confused." The intensity of Natalie's reaction, as described by her sister, suggests the event left a lasting emotional imprint. According to Lana, their mother advised Natalie to endure the situation quietly, emphasizing the importance of protecting her career, a reflection of the often harsh realities young actresses faced in Hollywood during that era, when appearances and professional advancement frequently took precedence over personal well-being. These recollections have resurfaced in recent years, drawing renewed attention because they highlight the potential emotional challenges and pressures Natalie may have carried privately for decades. While the details remain largely private and are the subject of debate, the account underscores the complex and sometimes difficult circumstances young performers like Natalie often encountered. Her early life in the public eye required constant navigation of expectations, both familial and professional, which could complicate the way she processed deeply personal experiences. While Natalie Wood dazzled audiences with her talent and charisma from a very young age, her life off camera was reportedly far more complicated and fraught with personal challenges. According to her younger sister, Lana Wood, Natalie struggled emotionally throughout her life, grappling with pressures both from Hollywood and her personal relationships. The disparity between her public image, a polished, cheerful starlet, and her private life reveals a woman navigating deep and sometimes overwhelming emotional turbulence. One particularly alarming episode reportedly occurred in the mid-1960s, after a romantic relationship with director Sidney Pollack ended in 1966. Lana alleges that Natalie, devastated by the breakup, took a handful of sleeping pills, specifically Seconal, in an apparent suicide attempt. The incident profoundly shocked her family and exposed the intensity of the emotional struggles she faced. While the event has never been fully confirmed, it is widely discussed in memoirs and retrospective accounts, highlighting a pattern of distress that may have been present throughout her adult life. Lana also suggests that Natalie's reliance on sedatives and similar substances was not an isolated issue, but may have been connected to earlier emotional traumas, including the challenges of growing up in a demanding Hollywood environment and experiences she reportedly carried from her teenage years. The pressures of fame, coupled with the intense scrutiny of the public and the entertainment industry, likely compounded these struggles, creating an environment in which coping mechanisms, whether temporary or long-term, became necessary for survival. Further complicating her private life were difficulties in her marriage to actor Robert Wagner. Lana implies that the dynamics within this relationship contributed to Natalie's emotional vulnerability, as she reportedly faced a mix of personal expectations, professional pressures, and intimate relationship challenges that could exacerbate feelings of isolation or anxiety. The combination of these factors paints a portrait of a woman whose off-screen life was filled with a complexity and pain often hidden from the public eye. Reportedly, Natalie Wood had a well-documented lifelong fear of water, particularly of dark water, a fear she reportedly never fully overcame despite her many on-screen roles that sometimes required swimming or water scenes. This fear makes the circumstances of her death in 1981 especially haunting, as the tragic events unfolded during a leisure trip on the ocean, a setting that had long caused her anxiety. Friends and family noted that Natalie's apprehension around water was deep-seated, shaped perhaps by early experiences and by the isolation and pressures of her Hollywood career, which often forced her into situations she found stressful or frightening. The fateful weekend occurred over Thanksgiving in 1981, when Natalie boarded the yacht Splendor for a trip to Catalina Island. Accompanying her were her husband, Robert Wagner, her Brainstorm co-star, Christopher Walken, and the yacht's captain, Dennis Davern. According to reports, the evening included dinner and drinks, creating an atmosphere that some sources describe as tense. Accounts suggest that the combination of alcohol, cramped quarters, and the underlying tensions between the passengers may have contributed to an uneasy dynamic aboard the yacht. Details of that night, while officially recorded in reports and witness statements, remain murky and heavily scrutinized. Some witnesses noted that the evening was initially convivial, but as night fell and alcohol was consumed, minor disputes and disagreements reportedly arose. Observers have speculated that the tension may have stemmed from both personal dynamics and the challenges of navigating a small vessel in open water. The presence of dark water, the very element that Natalie feared most, added a layer of danger to an already fraught environment, highlighting the precariousness of the situation. By the time Natalie went missing, the convergence of fear, water, and a confined social setting had created circumstances ripe for tragedy. Her fear of water reportedly made her more cautious and hesitant, yet the events aboard the Splendor moved quickly, leaving little time for her to react or for others to intervene. The combination of alcohol, darkness, and possibly uneven footing on a moving vessel contributed to the night's tragic outcome, underscoring the delicate balance of human error, fear, and circumstance that can converge so suddenly. Following some sources, Natalie Wood's body was discovered floating in the Pacific Ocean, roughly a mile from the yacht Splendor, which had carried her, her husband Robert Wagner, co-star Christopher Walken, and the yacht's captain, Dennis Davern, on a Thanksgiving weekend trip to Catalina Island. The discovery of her body sent shockwaves through Hollywood as fans and colleagues struggled to reconcile the vibrant, talented woman they knew with the tragic end that had come so suddenly. At the time she was found, Natalie was wearing a flannel nightgown, wool socks, and a distinctive red down jacket. These details, mundane on the surface, have been endlessly scrutinized in attempts to reconstruct the final moments of her life. The combination of night clothing and outerwear suggests she may have been attempting to manage the chilly evening waters, or perhaps move between the yacht and its dinghy, a maneuver that, given her known fear of water, could have been particularly stressful. The original coroner's report, conducted by the renowned Dr. Thomas Noguchi, noted several injuries, including bruise marks on her arms and an abrasion on her cheek. Despite these findings, the initial ruling was that Natalie had died from accidental drowning. Dr. Noguchi speculated that she may have slipped while trying to board or secure the yacht's dinghy, a small boat used for transportation between the yacht and shore. He further noted that her blood alcohol content, recorded at 0.14%, could have significantly impaired her coordination and judgment, making a fall or misstep more likely. This combination of factors, the dark water, the physical challenge of moving aboard a vessel, and the influence of alcohol, formed the basis of the conclusion at the time. Decades after the tragic death of Natalie Wood, the circumstances surrounding her passing were revisited, shedding new light on an already mysterious and haunting story. For years, her death had been officially ruled an accidental drowning, with explanations pointing to a slip from the yacht's dinghy, compounded by alcohol and her lifelong fear of water. However, as time passed, lingering questions and inconsistencies in witness statements prompted officials and investigators to re-examine the case, leading to a major shift in the narrative in 2012. In that year, the Los Angeles County coroner officially amended Natalie Wood's cause of death from accidental drowning to drowning and other undetermined factors. This reevaluation was driven by newly observed details on her body that had previously gone unnoticed or unexamined. The coroner's report cited fresh bruising on her right forearm, left wrist, and knee, as well as a scratch on her neck. These injuries suggested the possibility that she might have sustained trauma prior to entering the water, raising questions about what exactly occurred on the night of November 29, 1981. The revised report stated, "This examiner is unable to exclude non-accidental mechanism injuries of the upper extremities." While it did not conclude foul play definitively, this language marked a significant departure from the original coroner's ruling and reflected the complexities and ambiguities that have surrounded Natalie Wood's death for decades. The use of the term "other undetermined factors" signaled an acknowledgement that there were elements of the case that could not be fully explained, leaving open the possibility of circumstances beyond a simple accident. The reopening of the case also brought renewed attention to the events of that fateful night on the yacht Splendor. Investigators re-examined statements from the vessel's captain, Dennis Davern, and from Natalie's husband, Robert Wagner, as well as Christopher Walken, her co-star. Public fascination intensified as decades of speculation, media coverage, and conflicting accounts came together with the coroner's updated findings, creating a broader and more nuanced picture of the night she died. Among the most notable developments was the statement from Dennis Davern, the captain of the yacht Splendor on the night of Natalie's disappearance. Davern later claimed that he observed fresh bruises on Natalie's body that he considered significant, potentially indicating she may have been injured before entering the water. These observations, coupled with lingering questions about the events aboard the yacht, prompted investigators to look more closely at the people present during those final hours. As part of the renewed inquiry, in 2018, Robert Wagner, Natalie Wood's husband and one of the last people to see her alive, was formally named a person of interest by law enforcement. This designation does not imply criminal charges or guilt, but rather indicates that investigators believe Wagner may have information critical to understanding the circumstances surrounding her death. The decision to name him reflects both the seriousness with which authorities were re-examining the case and the persistence of unanswered questions about the events on the yacht that fateful night. Despite this development, Wagner has consistently denied any involvement in Natalie's death, maintaining that he had no role in the tragedy. In public statements and interviews, he has expressed enduring grief over the loss of his wife, describing the experience as profoundly painful and life-altering. Friends, colleagues, and family members have also spoken about the complicated dynamics between Natalie and Wagner, noting both periods of tension and deep affection. These nuanced relationships, while part of the personal context, have fueled speculation and media coverage, creating a narrative that is part investigation, part Hollywood intrigue. The case remains officially unresolved. The combination of conflicting witness statements, limited physical evidence, and the passage of time has made it difficult for authorities to draw definitive conclusions. The designation of Wagner as a person of interest has ensured that the investigation remains active, with law enforcement emphasizing the need to examine all possibilities before reaching any final determination. This approach reflects the broader challenges of cases involving high-profile individuals, where public scrutiny, complex interpersonal relationships, and incomplete records complicate the search for definitive answers. Naming Wagner as a person of interest has also had profound implications for public perception of the case. It has renewed interest in the mystery surrounding Natalie Wood's death, prompting documentaries, investigative journalism, and speculation across media platforms. Yet despite decades of analysis, interviews, and revisited reports, the circumstances of her final hours remain clouded by ambiguity. For many, the unresolved nature of the case underscores the fragility of life and the enduring enigma that surrounds Hollywood tragedies. Natalie Wood's story, marked by talent, fame, and a mysterious death, continues to captivate and perplex audiences around the world. What do you think about Natalie Wood? Leave us your comments in the section below. We hope you have found this helpful video. Don't forget to leave a like, share, and subscribe to the channel if you like it. Thank you for watching this, and see you in the next videos. Goodbye.